more. So we have so many positive things happening. We've had a number of businesses open over 26 businesses open in the last few years, which is a lot in a town of under 4,000. So for Laura with Virginia Tourism met with that group, and we have a tourism plan now. So now that just passed council about a month ago. So now we're working on that and continuing to meet with groups. We really want the marinas. We have 9 marinas in Colonial Beach.
Wow.
Who knew, right? They're right along the Monroe Bay. There's a long line, and it's fantastic, but the water access there. So we'd like to even increase water access more, but you can kayak, you can do all kinds of things. There are charter fishing boats available with Captain Chris and others down there. So there's just a plethora of things.
Already on the mic, Mike Kelly is with us. We are talking all the great things happening in Colonial Beach. One of the great parts about this is I talk to people who know and do some really cool things. When I'm talking to Jack Barry about tourism, people don't understand the impact of what tourism means to the local residents. It's a direct impact. Talk a little bit about that part right there.
Sure.
Because all we know are you see people coming to town
Right.
and doing things. They don't realize the direct impact that has.
Think about all the jobs that tourism impacts. And if you look at Virginia Tourism's latest numbers, I think you'll be blown away by the amount of revenue that tourism brings in. But if you think about hotel workers, restaurant workers, marinas and other things, anything related to people visiting has a direct impact. So, when they buy a meal, when you get off that boat in Colonial Beach and take a golf cart, we're a golf cart community, to a local business or a shop downtown on Hawthorne Street, you will have helped the community in a great way. So it's all very important. Tourism is part of economic development. And in communities like that, it can be a driver.
There you go. Kelly is here with us, and she's bouncing between tourism and economic development. And that's my thing right there, that a lot of times the two go together. Always talk to so Danielle Fitzhugh just left the chamber and went over to tourism. I went right with her. Yes, I did. Shout out to Danielle and the team over there. Yes. So now we always talk about, people see the big grand openings of, the governors there and the mayors, and they're doing all those big things. You see that here and there ever so often, but there are businesses opening every day, which is like the economic backbone of a town like Colonial Beach. Correct. A town like Petersburg or anywhere else, that plays a big part in it. How do you foster that ecosystem to make that something that people would want to do?
I think when people visit, they see the sense of community, and that has led to businesses opening. Here recently, we've had circa 1892, the year Colonial Beach started, opened up. It's a wine and cheese shop, and renovated in an old building downtown. It's fantastic. It's had quite a draw. The Fire Escape restaurant just opened up. They ran a food truck for many years and came to Colonial Beach on their day off. Loved it so much. They found a building. And then we have a train store on the main street in Colonial Beach. A gentleman that has a fascination with trains wanted to open a train store, and so it's interactive. So it's something else for the children to do when they're there, and maybe it's raining and they don't want to go to the beach. So it's just another opportunity.
All right, economic development. What's on the horizon for you guys there? What's new and exciting happening that you want our listeners to know about?
We're continuing to engage with the momentum that we've grown over the last few years. We have 2 new restaurants opening up on the boardwalk right there in Colonial Beach. Should be open in October. Duke Dotson, who's from the Richmond area, has a tie to Colonial Beach.
I didn't know. I didn't know until they're like, Duke Dotson. They're like, yeah.
Yeah, he grew up going to Colonial Beach, and we're really fortunate.
He's a visionary guy.
He is, and he took quite a few pieces of property in Colonial Beach, and has done some mixed use now right along the boardwalk. One of our gems that people are really surprised to find is that we have a co-working space. It's an old bank building in Colonial Beach. So one of Duke Dodson's projects, and a shout out to Lori Gore, who worked diligently to make that building to keep. They still have the bank vault in there. So you can have a business meeting, but it's also a community place. So they host events on the weekends. And so a town of under 4,000 has a co-work space. How great is that? We've had visitors from New York and all kinds of places. And once they come, they want a house. They want to stay.
And you know what, that's another thing when I talk to folks at tourism, they say a lot of times new residents come here for the first time for work, and or they
Yes.
come for a visit, and next thing you know, they start looking, they say they found their place.
That's exactly right. It happens frequently. There's so many events in Colonial Beach. This weekend is our annual arts event, and that is Saturday and Sunday. But there's an artist community in Colonial Beach, and we have second Fridays of the month typically are art walks, and we have a Dora. So we have an outdoor area where you can walk around with a drink in a designated area. We're, I think, the only Dora in Virginia that includes water. So we had to go through some extra hoops for that, which is fantastic. But a lot of people will come and just walk around and then decide. And a lot of people that I've worked with downtown Colonial Beach and the Chamber and other groups of folks that have been dedicated to the town came and visited, or their family had a house there for years and then